Good afternoon. This is the video for 16.5. And this is where we're looking at graphs and we're just writing a story about what's happening in the graph. And we're being very specific about what the problem is about. This problem is about Mercedes, and she leaves her beach house for a walk along the beach. The graph shows her distance from home for the duration of her walk. So we're measuring how far she's walking in miles and comparing that to time. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is break up the graph into the separate sections with their capital letters and just write a sentence or two about each one. You're going to state things like how many miles she went and how much time it took her, and you also need to convert that to speed. Okay, remember, speed is going to be your slope. That's going to be your rate of change. Your rate of change is your change in y, how many miles did she go, divided by the time. Okay? So the first section is A right here, and Mercedes is traveling from her beach house. She leaves the beach house and she walks away from it. The distance is getting greater. She's getting a greater distance from home. So in that first hour, she walks 3 miles. So she leaves the beach house and walks 3 miles in 1 hour. The second sentence I'll write about this is that her speed is 3 miles an hour. Okay, so 3 divided by 1. How many miles divided by how many hours? Okay, now in this next section, okay, that you can tell by looking at the slope of the line that she slowed down. It's not as steep. Okay, so she went from this point right here to this point right here on the graph. She went a total of from 3 miles to 4.5 miles. So she went 1.5 miles. And as far as time goes, she went from 1 to 2.5. So that's 1.5 hours is the total time that it took her. So Mercedes slowed down. She walked 1.5 more miles for the next 1.5 hours. Her speed was 1 mile an hour. So we divide the miles divided by the hours to get the 1. In the next section, we can see that the graph is flat there. And that is indicating that during that time, which is an hour long, during that time, she did not increase or decrease her distance from home. In other words, she probably stayed in one spot. There could be the problem, we don't know why she stayed in one spot. We could make up reasons if we wanted to be creative, but the point is that for the next hour, she stopped walking. Maybe she stopped to talk to a friend or collect seashells, whatever. We're not going to overthink, a problem about a made-up person here. The last section of the graph is going downhill, or is decreasing. And what's decreasing is her distance from home. So at this point, we can conclude that she is walking home, and the total distance that she walked was 4.5 miles. She went from 4.5 miles down to 0. And it took her 1.5 hours to do it. Okay? She then decided to walk home. She walked 4.5 miles in 1.5 hours, which was 3 miles per hour. Miles divided by hours. Okay, so this is what you're writing for each graph in your homework. We're just breaking apart the pieces, finding the rate of change, and kind of writing sentences about how far she's going, how much time it's taking her, and then calculating the speed, which is the same as calculating rate of change. Okay, thank you very much and have a good day. See you tomorrow.